But strangely enough, there is left in the world today an area as big as the United States
that's never been seen by a human being.
The best is yet to come.
Don't tell me that doesn't have anything to do with kids getting fucking heart problems, because I never heard of this before the fact.
Houston, we have a problem.
We destroyed that technology.
People should not be walking around with masks.
That stuff is flat.
There's your flu last year. Here's your flu this year.
Literally doesn't
All right,
even
ladies and
exist.
gentlemen, welcome back to the Hibbeler Effect. We have him. We have the king of comedy in LA, that's for sure. Especially when it comes to conspiracies and truth, and he's out there kicking ass, and he's building a swarm army, let me tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Tripoli, thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you, Hibbeler. You're one of the best. Heil Hibbeler. Heil Hibbeler.
I knew that was going to come up eventually.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you should make a shirt that says Heil Hibbeler.
It's not something you want to hear screamed across the street all the time, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were just talking. This is my first podcast in my new space.
Look at
so
that.
I'm excited about that. Got
Popping the
to
cherry.
bust my cherry on with Hibbeler, so it's great. And we're out here hanging. And I take my kids all around, and there's a lot of hot moms out here. And I like to wear the number one merch I have that gets the most comments, especially from attractive women, is the anti-vax club.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of awakened women in the valley, dog.
Oh,
so
man.
That's where I'm hanging and banging now.
So let me the first 20 minutes of this show I will be previewing on YouTube.
Okay.
So let's keep it YouTube friendly, and then I'll make the announcement, and then we're gonna get dirty. Okay.
I didn't know Hibbeler's on YouTube. My apologies, bro.
No, I try to give 20-minute previews.
That's
to my
like
audience.
Belladonna on NPR. But okay, keep going.
I'm trying to see how long they're gonna let me stay, man. I've been on 2 strikes for a long time, but it's worked so far.
Here's the whole thing. Do whatever you can to stay.
Yeah.
Like, there's those people, I'm going to do me, and it's just like it gets real cold out there. For some reason, Instagram's been kind to me lately, and Daddy's going to play by the rules.
Yeah, it sucks, man. We got to play by the rules just to try to defeat the system. It's kind of a weird game we play, but I think it's if you have a good strategy and just stick to it, stick to the strategy. I feel like anything I do, if I release something on my YouTube that has to do with any topic, it just strike your threats, and it's like, okay, I can't put any more films on there technically. So, but
yeah, that's like mean comedy, dude. They're always like, "Can you work clean?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not going to work safe." Even my clean stuff is super edgy. So, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. When and for my audience, well, let me start with this. I'm sure half my audience probably can't stand you. Because he's not open to flat. He doesn't talk about flat earth on his show every day. He doesn't have a flat earth tattoo.
Bro. I love when people say don't talk flat earth. Like, how many times do I have to have Eddie Bravo on for you guys to go, oh, he talks flat earth, or Dave Weiss, or you, or any of the, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. I don't care. Everybody's welcome.
And you know what? And that's what I've noticed about you is everyone is welcome, and you're open arms to rabbit holes. You're open arms to hearing things out. And then you come up with your own conclusions. I mean, I'm sure you have your own conclusion on where we live, but it's just the point of everyone needs to come up with their own conclusions anyways. Don't believe me. Don't believe you. Don't believe your guess, my guess. Everyone should only trust their own senses and their own research at the end of the day, right? So,
right.
And that's what I try to promote is do your own research. And you know what? I've been listening to your show a lot lately, driving around in the car and stuff like that. And I mean, you've really hit some really good topics these last 6 months. I mean, steady diversion of topics, diversion of truths. And hats off to you, man. Your show is really, really good. Tinfoil Hat is kicking ass, man, in my opinion.
Thank you, buddy. I'm very excited about where it is. It still grows. I know a lot of people have been around for a while. Their shows are kind of going down a little bit, but the fact that we are growing after 6 years is such a blessing. And it's because I take my audience's like tastes and concerns very seriously, you know, and so I never take them for granted. I think there's some people that do that, and when you start to take them for granted, you start to lose them. And so it's interesting, man. It's an interesting journey, but you know, you're kind of talking about like, you know, like question everything. I think at some point, man, that you should get to a place where you're like, all of this is just haunted theater in this haunted house. And it goes to a lot of stuff that you're saying a lot. You go a little deeper with, you know, everything is a show and a stage than I do. But I lean more and more towards it. Like, and I think more and more it's becoming sloppier and sloppier. And so it's like, I'm not into any of this. I mean, it's so obvious what's going on. Like there's like trans rights and there's like 20 trans out there. And like there's a million trans activists. It's like so I know a ton of trans. Don't have any problems with live your life, man. Whatever you want to do with consenting adults, none of my business. I'm out of it. Whatever you want to do with people in your own home, as long as they're consenting adults, you'll never hear a problem from me. But like this chaos that's going on is all theater. They all just want us to go nuts, start burning stuff down so they can bring in domestic terrorism. And then we become Russia and everything starts to disappear. That's what it's all about.
Well, yeah, they're trying to paint a direction of pissing off every type of audience, every type of group in the world, piss them off, get them in the streets so we can lynch them and start a war. They want a civil war. They're trying to approach it in an unrealistic way because it's not working. It's not going to work. So it's either we as people
they want
have to
civil
go out.
war. They just want the UN here. That's what they really want. Because if you actually looked at the numbers on each side, okay, dude, there's like a couple on one side and like half the country on another side. There's no way. This isn't the 300 either. It's not a bunch of jacked 300 guys just shredded fighting a whole army. So it's not a civil war. They want you to think it is, but in reality, it's like that's why they want to get UN boots on the ground. That's what it's all really about, and that's why they keep just pressing the button. Everything is scientifically done. And if you ever want to watch what they're pushing, just watch The View. You got 4 half cows sitting there, and they're not even creative enough to disguise the propaganda that they're putting out. They literally just come out and say it. And they're like, domestic terrorism is the biggest threat. I'm like, oh, so that's the narrative we're pushing this month. Because they want that Department of Domestic Terrorism so they can just label anybody they want domestic terrorist, and then you disappear and you're never seen again.
Well, I think within 10 years, we're going to see a complete split in this world of people. Truthers, awakened souls are probably going to have to get back to nature in some sense. I don't mean just throw yourself in the jungle and call it a day, but in some sense, we're going to have to adapt to off grid, away from metropolitan shit, away from your 5G network grid of whatever their agenda is going to be. I think that it's going to be one of those things where they're just like, you know what? There's too many of us out here. They can't control us all. And the games they play, they do work for some. But man, even the ones that it worked for, a lot of people in my life, they're flipping now. They're like, dude, they fucked up because I'm awake now. This COVID thing or whatever it was, again, we can't get into details for another 15 minutes, but that whatever it is, they're waking up. And I don't think the powers that be expected these people to be waking up. But like you said about The View, they're making it so obvious. They're making it so obvious that this is staged, this is set up, this is all an agenda.
Well, you know, it's like everything was up to common sense, right? Like, you know, for a while there, conservatism was like just taking out anybody that didn't follow the church's, you know, control system. And we fall all the way to common sense. But now it's just gone to bizarro town. And that's where liberalism stops and progressivism begins. That's, you know, it's like liberalism, which is libertarianism, basically just goes to common sense. And then once you go past that, which is every generation tries to push it farther, but it's gone to clown bizarro town, that's where you start to lose everybody. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like, you know, I've been saying this a lot in my shows, but it's like what these people are pushing versus the life they live. You know, it's like these agenda. I don't listen. Let's get away from this stuff until we get into because
yeah.
I don't want to
let me bring up another innocent topic here for my audience to hear you. When I go to your shows, when you do Tinfoil Hat, I think I missed one California show in the past 4 years, but I try to make them all. Even the one I went to in Texas was just, it's always the best experience. And for my audience, I'll tell you, this is how we're bringing truthers together, because now, granted, the Comedy Store can't really control that audience, but in terms of your own swarm, you and Eddie's tour that you guys have been doing for so long now, kicking ass and taking names, for my audience to understand, the energy and vibration in that building is something you want to be a part of. These are the awakened souls of your community. These are the awakened souls coming together, trying to figure this out one step at a time. And whether you like Sam, whether you like Eddie, who else is doing something to do this? No one's doing now. Jim Brewer's going to be tinkering with this one day soon. No details given right now, but it's just the point. It's just the point of you guys are starting. I was just having a conversation there with my buddy Justin Harvey, and I told him, I said, Sam and Eddie, they've been doing this for a while. I said, they're setting the tone. This is what we need in the world. In every category, though, not just comedy. Every category. Do your own fucking thing. Build your own audience, right? Because now you have your own soldiers, and then soldiers can actually, the community of soldiers can be, designed in a sense that we're all truthers in a way. So we're all going to come together. This is how we defeat the system from the inside out. And you're doing a brilliant job.
It's the great. Thank you. I appreciate that. And, Eddie was the one who came up with the idea. He's like, we should just do a conspiracy show called Tinfoil Hat Comedy. Obviously look into it as killing it out there and crushing it, which is always great to see. Like, I wish he would have started that earlier, because it'd be amazing to see where he'd be right now. But he's like just, doing amazing things on there. And it's just like people are hungry for that. And the game has changed. And the future is authenticity. Yeah. And I was having a conversation with a guy who's been working with a huge podcast for years. And he goes, I think this kind of vapid podcasting that's kind of reigning supreme right now is going to go away. And again, it's going to get to authenticity. It's like I tell everybody, man, be a lighthouse in a sea of shit. And, like Eddie always says, we're like the Slayer of comedy. That's what the two of us do. We go on the road and we bring everybody in and we spit truth. And, I've been like going on and, I got to pick where I go up in LA, because I can't go up everywhere because, sarcasm is violence in Los Angeles.
California, yeah.
Well, no, dude. I'm telling you, man, it's LA. You go to Bakersfield, you can go to, San Diego had some bodybuilder want to fight me, but outside of that, man, people like, dude, the first time I knew that Tinfoil Hat Comedy was onto something, Eddie Bravo and I were playing Cobb's, and we were up against this giant festival, and the Cobbs had booked us to counter that. And we got there, and there were over 300 people on the show. I'm like, oh my God, bro, 300 people. And we were ripping on the Obamas, and the place was going nuts in San Francisco. And I was like, oh, dude, this is something, dog. This is something, And when it comes to Trump and this indictment, just for the record, I'm on the record for all the presidents getting arrested, all of them. Light them all up, bro.
Yeah. No, I know, man. Obviously, Eddie's take on Trump. I'm sure you're maybe in the middle or leaning towards me. I don't buy into it, but I hear Eddie out to the best of my ability. And I always end with, I hope you're right. That's all I can do at that point is I hope you're right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Here's the whole thing. If you had to pick like a president of the last 7 or 8, you'd probably pick Trump, right? Even though
I get it. Yeah, I understand.
Right.
He mibe a better actor too, though.
But there's just this notion that any billionaire is going to be branded as an outsider is hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
And, this whole thing is theater to get us to riot. All he keeps saying is get to the streets, which is exactly what he said on January 6th, which was let's march towards the Capitol. So it's like, You know, I get it. You're dying for someone to save you, and you don't realize that person's already inside you, and you could save yourself. But nobody wants to do it. Everybody loves pro wrestling. We just wanna believe in something. Like, just believe in yourself, man. Start working like you were talking earlier. Just get it. Just go buy some land, grow some food, grow some crops. Get a co-op going with other people. That's how you do it, man. You don't
but still, it goes, for me though, Sam, it goes even deeper than that to get our world back, because from my paradigm, people have to understand where we live, but more importantly, people have to understand that there's free energy in the sky. There's free energy in the ether above us. This place was designed for us we're getting charged for fucking everything, and we shouldn't have to. So people, like you said, the community gets built. Who's good at building this? Who's good at laying down this? Who's good at this? Tesla coils are running pretty high right now. I don't know. They're floating around. I don't know if it started with Santos or not, but these Tesla coils, I mean, even David Weiss has one now. It's like, holy shit. When you see these Tesla coils, man, it's like, we don't need electricity companies. We don't need these corporations. We don't need anything. It's right here for free, just like the waters should be free. And the oil should be free. It's all over the earth. And you just dig a hole and there's fucking oil there. Not, there's only a few points on earth there's oil. Bullshit.
Yeah, I agree, man. I completely agree. And, now all of a sudden OPEC and non-OPEC countries have all decided to cut back pumping oil. You're like, this is all part of the Watchers, the fallen angels, the Anunnaki, the Archon. They're all the same thing. They're just different names for the same fucking thing, dude. And it's very interesting, man, because I'm really into this thing that all of this is a very special place, man. And when you talk about oils, therefore, I 100% believe that God created oil for us to use. And how do you know that? Because the heathens are telling us to get rid of it. And anytime they tell us to do something, I know the exact opposite is the same. So for most of my life, believe that Nixon was a horrible person, right? That he was just, and now I don't trust any president as far as I can kick him. But we're grading on a curve here, right? Then it turns out that Watergate wasn't the reason they got rid of Nixon. They got rid of Nixon because he told the CIA, I know you killed JFK, and they ran him out and put in a guy that was already a CIA guy. Really? That's what you start to realize, man. And like, what is up is really down. Everything they're teaching us is the opposite. All of it. Assume, like, if it is everywhere, assume it's the opposite. And all these psyops they're running them specifically. Everything is, Bill Cooper said in his book, it's all scripted. They don't care. Okay. They don't care about who's in the way. They want emotional triggers to cause trauma and anxiety, because when you have high anxiety, you're more easily manipulated.
And fear. Let's not rule out fear. That's what they live by, is if the people have fear, we can control them. And that's really what they've lived by since this cabal started, which in my humble opinion, late 1800s. That's just my humble opinion, is when this current cabal started.
1500s, bro.
What do you say?
1500s.
Really? Okay. All right, explain. We still got
and I believe, dude, that we are the apocalypse that everyone's talking about isn't the end of days. It's the beginning of the days. We are in the 2,000 years of darkness right now. We've been in it for a while. That's what all these Babylonian physician Babylonian money magic bankers have been doing, worshiping the fallen, Kronos, all those dark entities. And this has been the 2,000 years of just darkness that we're about to leave.
It feels like we're leaving it. It feels like we're already, like, maybe people like us and our audience is like, it feels like, maybe just to me, like we've already left it. But because we live in this world and we can see it from afar, like, no, it's still dark as shit out here, man. Like, fuck. Wake up, dude. People. Wake up.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do. I'm like, I always get these new conspiracy theorists. They want to just run around and wake up everybody and save everybody. It's like, nope, but you can't save anybody. You can just put the information out, and hope they find it. What is the point of being miserable when you're trying to make a world a better place, right? It's like, why make it better if you're just going to be a miserable fuck in it? So that's my whole thing. It's like, I just put it out there, and it's like, I get these downloads, man. And that's why, like, you know, I trust Eddie. You know, you're never going to agree with everybody 100% of the time, but his batting average is insanity.
Yep.
So when he says something, I listen to it. And, you know, he's been saying a lot of stuff, and it more and more comes true. And the best part is you go back to these old tinfoil hats, and you see how correct we were. A lot of people say I was wrong on Q. I'll tell you exactly what I said. It could easily be the elites telling us everything because they're going to destroy everything. Lo and behold, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
100%.
I get it.
But here's the thing, man. The information was real.
And
now,
it did awaken people based on that. Yeah.
Now here's my last thing. I think they use Q to test drive Chat GPT and all those AIs, and that's why it was written the way it was written. Okay. It was taking all the stuff being talked about on the internet and putting it out in a chat, maybe not specifically that AI, but an AI like it that put out that kind of information. But it's
a good take. I never heard that one. I could see that being realistic, honestly, because you see now everything's AI, everywhere, everything,
and the way it writes is it like in this kind of, and you know, there's this whole theory that the Bible back in the day was written by an advanced AI and stuff like that. Anything's possible, man. But what I just learned, dude, is like they wouldn't need all this propaganda if we weren't super fucking powerful, dude.
Yeah, I know not everybody's gonna like when I say this, but any book that you could find for free in your fucking hotel room, okay? It's not all true. I'm sorry. It's not there. This world is controlled. So they're not going to sell you a book of the word of God from start to finish, pure 100% truth. This is the real deal. But get out of here. They lie about everything possible. They're not going to give you a free book in your hotel room to gain truth from. I'm sorry. That's altered. And all the books have been altered. Not, in my humble opinion, I think that organized religions were started by Freemasons. That's just my opinion. I think they're all they're all formed by the same type of people. And I'm not saying it could be Masons, it could be someone else. The point is that from my research, it looks like they were all kind of started around the same time. I could be a lunatic for saying that to people, but I'll tell you, go down the rabbit holes I go down, man. Organized religion is no bueno, and I stress it enough.
You know who you should talk to? Esoteric Eddie.
Okay.
You need to talk to him, dude, because he breaks down like all this stuff. He goes really deep. And you know what the blessing of Tinfoil Hat is like, and I love them, is like they go on this journey with me, and we sometimes talk about dangerous subjects, dog. And I feel like I have to do a preface before it.
Yeah.
And about, hey man, we're just having a discussion here, but I never get like really any like kind of negativity from it. I'm very like any criticism, they're open to hearing it, and maybe I lose a couple people. I'm cool with Jesus. Who knows what the real story of it is, right? Who knows? I get it. I get what you're saying, dude. He could also be an Elgagor, where it's like enough people believe in him, it becomes a real thing. Who knows, man? There's also
no one knows. No, it's the same answer as what happens after you die. Nobody knows. It's all opinions and speculation. I like to listen to some people's tales on afterlife. It's always interesting, but for anyone to go, you know what? Yep, that's 100%.
Dude, it's super interesting because like I've changed my life. I had kids. I hit a rock bottom. And I had kids, and I said I had to stop. Yeah. And so I've been really working. I still have things I'm battling, and I'm starting to lock them down. I'm like any human being. I have a light.
You're not perfect. So I'm really proud of you for sticking to it. That's for sure.
Oh, I love it, man. I love being sober. But so I I practice certain things, dude. And it's just like, I was a buddy of mine's an atheist and he wanted me to come on. I told him I'm not here to convince you of anything. That doesn't really mean anything to me. And you're on your own journey. But I'm just going to tell you that these are certain things that I do that make me think there's something bigger out there. And that is, law of attraction, model of abundance. That's the big one, dude, is like, giving it away and helping others, and there's a bunch of other things I do every day. I try to do every day with discipline. I clean the books. What does that mean? At the end of the day, if I owe somebody a call or I owe somebody money or whatever it is, I clean those books up. And, whatever that means, I don't know. There's some people think this whole reality was started by a demiurge, which is hilarious because that would be the first feminist who fucked everything up. Basically, Sophia was the female side of God. There's a male side and female side. And the female side was Sophia, and she wanted to create life without the man, which is, I can do my own thing. I don't need a man in my life. Created the demiurge, and he created this false reality. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't really get into it. I just handle. All I know is what is vibrationally making me better and what vibrationally makes me sadder or depressed or whatever. And I work on positivity and I try to get rid of negativity. And that's all that really it is. I
agree, man. You keep it very positive all the time. I mean, even on your shows, even if your guest is being negative, you try to bring it back to positive and so
I try.
Yeah, you try.
I mean, like my whole biggest thing, I'm not really into the hate stuff. But I mean, I'm also like, everybody has earned the right to be criticized. Yeah. There's to me, I don't like being like, this group is bad or that group is bad. I like to talk about individuals of those groups that are bad. Like this notion that criticizing George Soros makes you anti-Semitic is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life, and it just has no power anymore. It has no.
But make fun of Bill Gates. Let's just pretend he's Lutheran. I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
Are you anti-Lutheran now because you talk shit about Bill Gates? I don't.
Dude, and you can get into all of it. You're like, if we're really gonna make people protected class because of things that happen in the back. Why can't we make fun of Muslims now when we have exterminated 11 million of them in the last 20 years? Why can't we make fun of Russians and blame Russia for everything when they lost 4 million people in concentration camps and another 14 mil about fighting Nazis? So the whole thing is like it's very interesting. My girlfriend's Jewish. I don't have a problem with Judaism. I have a real problem with Zionism and its weaponization. That is like, it started out like people want a holy land, respect that, but now it's becoming something else, and that's any other type of cultural Marxism thing. Whether it's feminism, whether it could be even, for the longest time, religion, Christianity, BLM, whatever that is, man. It's like this weaponization of things that may have started out at one point as being a pure and just trying to get everybody to kumbaya with each other. But in reality now it's been co-opted and hijacked and used as a weapon and a tool to cause dissension and to cause us all to fight with each other. That's what it's all about.
It's have the lab rats fight while we plan the rest of their miserable brainwashed deaths because they listen to everything we say on the telly. So it's very, but from like people like us from afar, we look and go, wow, that's actually not that hard to pull off what they're doing to everyone. It's not hard to do, and it's working, and that's what's sad.
Look at the future, right? Look at the future of what they want. The people who follow all the narratives, right? Do they look happy? Do they look healthy? Do they look like they're living their best life? No, at all.
No,
right?
you can see it in their face, man. And that, to me, that's a demon taking over their mind. You can just see it. I feel like with some, actually, I don't want to get into this on YouTube. So, you know what? With that said, We're a good time now. Hope you guys enjoyed the preview, YouTube. I'm so sorry we can't talk about big boy topics on this shitty platform. But come on over to Rockfin. We'll be over there. Hope you join us. Thanks for coming on the Hibbeler Effect, Sam, on the YouTube version. God bless you all. See you on Rockfin.